For millions of years, massive creatures ruled the earth, mythical beings with sharp teeth and enormous bodies. Dinosaurs are not just extinct animals popular in movies and books, but they're the key to understanding the history of life on Earth. By studying dinosaur fossils, scientists can reconstruct ancient ecosystems, trace the evolution of life, and understand the major events that shaped our planet, such as mass extinction. Dinosaurs are a treasure trove of scientific information and help us better understand our present and future. Edward Drinker Cope and Othniel Charles Marsh were giants in the world of paleontology during the 19th century. Born in 1840 and 1831 respectively, both were from the United States. Cope grew up in an academic environment that fostered scientific curiosity, leading him to immerse himself in the natural world from a young age. He was characterized by a strong and ambitious personality, focusing on quantity over accuracy, and often publishing his discoveries rapidly without fully verifying them. Marsh, on the other hand, came from a wealthy family and received a higher education at prestigious universities. He was distinguished by his keen observation and deep passion for science, making him a respected figure in scientific circles. He focused on studying fossils in detail before publishing his results, contributing to the development of a more accurate scientific classification of dinosaurs. The rivalry between Cope and Marsh, known as the Bone Wars, was both legendary and bitter. It began when Marsh pointed out a critical error in one of Cope's reconstructions, embarrassing him publicly. This did not sit well with the prideful Cope, who then turned his attention and resources toward competing with Marsh. Their competition took them to the American West, the heartland of dinosaur fossils, where they employed teams and spent fortunes to outdo one another. This intense rivalry was not without its consequences. Both men resorted to underhanded tactics in attempts to discredit each other. Spies were hired to sabotage digs, fossils were stolen, and scientific papers were hurriedly published to claim priority over discoveries. Cope took joy in exposing Marsh's mistakes, and Marsh reveled in proving Cope wrong. Their feud culminated in the discovery of over 136 new species of dinosaurs, contributing significantly to paleontology, but at the cost of their reputations and fortunes. In the end, history looked upon their rivalry with mixed feelings. On one hand, they had propelled the science of paleontology forward at an unprecedented pace. On the other, their feud exemplified how personal vendettas could overshadow scientific integrity. Cope died in 1897, still in conflict with Marsh, who passed away 2 years later in 1899. Though neither reconciled in life, their legacy has left an indelible mark on the study of dinosaurs. Before Edward Cope and Othniel Marsh became legends in the world of paleontology, scientists faced significant challenges in understanding and classifying dinosaurs. At that time, there was no unified scientific classification system for these extinct creatures. The discovered fossils lacked a clear scientific context, leading to confusion and discrepancies in the naming and classification of these creatures. This lack of a unified classification was a major obstacle to the progress of paleontology, as it was difficult to compare different discoveries or understand the evolutionary relationships between dinosaurs. A fierce competition arose between the two scientists in the mid-19th century, with the increasing public interest in the discovery of extinct creature fossils in the American West. This shared interest quickly turned into a struggle for dominance in the field of natural sciences. Each scientist strove to achieve fame and glory through their discoveries and obtain the necessary funding to continue their research. The first spark of this competition, known as the Bone Wars, was the disagreements over the classification of newly discovered fossils. These disagreements quickly turned into personal attacks between the two scientists, as each criticized the other's research and questioned its results. Over time, the intensity of the competition escalated, turning into an open war, where each used dishonest methods to outdo the other, such as stealing fossils, spying on the opponent's work, and destroying evidence. Edward Cope and Othniel Charles Marsh were similar to two different types of dinosaurs. Both were giants in the world of paleontology, but they competed for every bone. Their battleground was the American West, where the Earth's depths hid unprecedented treasures of fossils. They explored the vast prairies in search of any evidence of fossils, spending long hours digging and collecting. The goal was not just to discover a new fossil, but to discover as many fossils as possible and the rarest ones, so that each could publish his research before the other and ensure he gained the greatest fame. To achieve this goal, both scientists resorted to many methods, some legitimate and some illegitimate. They used large teams of workers to speed up the excavation process, and they published their research results very quickly, sometimes even before completing the analysis of all the data. But it did not stop there, as they sometimes crossed ethical lines, stealing each other's fossils, spying on the other's work, and destroying evidence that might support their opponent's theories. The places where this scientific battle took place were the fossil-rich regions of the American West, such as Kansas, Colorado, Wyoming, and New Mexico. In these regions, the two scientists competed for every fossil, and each new discovery ignited the flames of competition anew. Both Edward Cope and Othniel Charles Marsh contributed significantly to expanding the horizons of paleontology, as they discovered together thousands of extinct species, especially dinosaurs. Cope's discoveries were distinguished by their diversity, as he described more than 1,000 species of vertebrates, including dinosaurs such as Elasmosaurus and Mosasaurus, and many marine reptiles and early mammals. He also made valuable contributions to understanding the evolution of teeth in mammals. Marsh, on the other hand, focused more on dinosaurs and discovered many famous species such as Diplodocus, Apatosaurus, and Stegosaurus. Marsh also contributed to understanding the environment in which these dinosaurs lived, increasing our understanding of the Jurassic period, which extended from about 201.3 million years to 145 million years ago, and the Cretaceous period, which extended from about 145 million years to 66 million years ago. The bone wars between Edward Cope and Othniel Charles Marsh witnessed a fierce competition that went beyond the boundaries of honest scientific research. Both scientists used underhanded methods to gain an advantage, such as mutual defamation, destruction of disputed fossils, and data theft, which damaged the reputation of science as an activity based on integrity and the search for truth. This was not limited to that, but also extended to damaging the personal reputation of scientists, as they were seen as enemies competing for fame and money rather than seeking knowledge. This intense competition led to high material and human costs, as huge sums of money were wasted on excavation operations and competing to buy fossils, and enormous human energies were wasted in this struggle, which negatively affected the progress of science in other fields.